It's time for part 2 of the 2024 Holiday First Class Lounge recap with CX Passport. I hope that you enjoyed the first episode. I realize that this is coming out on New Year's Eve, and so I wish for everyone that you have a wonderful celebration today and that you have an amazing 2025. Now, enjoy these First Class Lounge episode snippets from Bill from the US, Alyona from New Zealand, Kojo from Ghana, Lauren back from the US, Adam from the UK, and Celia in the US. Y'all, it's been great. Thank you so much for being a listener and a viewer of CX Passport. I cannot begin to tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the episode. Customer experience wisdom, a dash of travel talk. We've been cleared for takeoff.
The best meals are served outside and require a passport.
We clearly need to take a break here. We got a little too serious there. That's
Sorry,
what happens
man.
sometimes in travel, and we need to take a nice little break here. And that's what happens when we travel. Let's get into the lounge. Let's take a relaxation. I want to ask you a few questions here. We'll move quickly here, have a little bit of fun, but I'm going to ask you a bonus question that I don't ask any other guest.
Ooh.
Do you actually have a favorite seat on the Airbus 321neo?
I have generally, so I always sit somewhere between rows 8 and 11 on the right side of the plane and aisle. And the reason for that is, I mean, I fly a lot, so I'm likely to get upgraded a fair amount too.
Right.
But I always sit there, and I always try and just get those seats. Very rarely are you going to find me past row 11, or whatever that first row in the plane is. So
Right. Your answer is less like vital to me than just the fact that you have an answer. That's the part that cracks me up, that you know exactly this is the range where I want to sit. Well, let's talk about when you are doing that traveling. What is a dream travel location from your past?
Oh gosh, personal or professional?
It doesn't matter. What was your favorite location from the past?
Has to be, well, my wife and I went to Bali on our honeymoon. And we actually took 3 weeks off, which is like unheard of over 20 years ago in the States.
Right.
It still is in the States, unheard of, right? But we took 3 weeks off and we traveled around the country a fair amount. We did end at a very nice luxury hotel overlooking the Indian Ocean.
Nice.
With a beautiful balcony and dinners on the beach and all that. It was a magical time. You're just married, but then it was just a magical place. But we've been fortunate to travel. I mean, having worked overseas, we've taken month-long vacations, driving around France, driving around Italy, driving around Germany, driving around Spain. So we've been really fortunate in our lives.
That slower travel is very appealing. I think if I were to do I actually have a second personal podcast. If I were to do a third podcast, I'd first be committed. And then second, it'd probably be about slow travel, because I think there's something when you really do take some time and just spend in an area and really enjoy that.
100%.
What about going forward, Bill? What's a dream travel location you've not been to yet?
The dream travel location I've not been to. I'd really love to go to the Maldives.
Okay. I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah.
You like that over water, the beach, the water, the sunset over the water?
Just clear water, beautiful sunsets, very
Nice.
relaxed. I'm a
I
beach
see it.
person. Not really a ski or winter person. So
Be out there on that bungalow. That does sound nice. What is a favorite thing of yours to eat?
Oh, pizza has to be. I mean,
Automatic.
And here's the thing. I'm born and raised in New York, and I've always had access to great pizza. My family and I moved down to the DC area 5 years ago now. And no offense to the folks down here, but like there is just not good pizza at all. Luckily, we travel north enough to see family that I get I'm stopping here for a slice. I don't care what anybody has to do or say. So.
I can see, I just have this vision of you in the morning, like, you know what, screw it. And you get on the Acela, you go get a slice of pie in New York, and then you come back on the train that evening. And it wouldn't surprise me if you say I've done that before.
I've done that, but incorporated that with like a bourbon run into like
brilliant.
Delaware or Northern Maryland. Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
Let's go the other way. What is something growing up you were forced to eat, but you hated as a kid?
I never hated anything as a kid. I'm Greek heritage. My mother was an excellent cook, and we ate some weird stuff growing up. Like normal people would look at it like, I'm not touching it, and we ate everything.
I like it.
So I'm not afraid of anything, and have pretty much eaten anything that someone will put in front of me. I'll try it.
Yeah, I think as an adult, I'm that way, Bill, where I'll try anything once. I have some things I don't like, but I'll try anything once. As a kid, I'm not sure that was a true sentence for me. Closing out the lounge, what is one travel item, not including your phone, not including your passport, that you will not leave home without?
Ooh, good question, Rick. I will not leave. That's a great question, man. My American Express card. Can I say that? I really will never leave home without it. I know that's corny and cliche to say their actual tagline on a podcast, but it's the first thing that came to mind, man. Whenever I leave the house, frankly, let alone travel, is my phone in my pocket and is my wallet in my pocket, and everything else really is just incidentalism.
That captured me there at the end. You may have seen the eyes kind of getting wide, or it's not that there's just this fire hose of democratization of insights. It's actually in the sense of be thoughtful as to what business decision you said that, what is the business decision that you're making, and then what information do you need to help support that business decision? Okay, the light bulb went off in my eyes, the light bulb went off in my head. And I have a much better understanding of the democratization of insights now. I'm talking to somebody from across the globe, right? So I want to mix this up a little bit. If I were to fly to New Zealand, and I believe there will be nonstop flights from DFW to New Zealand, which shocks me. Well, if that's the case, that's going to be a really, really long flight. And so stopping off in the first class lounge would be really nice. And so that's what I want to do with you here today, is join me here in the first class lounge. We'll move quickly and have a little bit of fun here. What is a dream travel location from your past?
For me, it was Hawaii.
Okay.
Probably the most exotic location you can imagine for somebody being from Ukraine and being able to swim with turtles in their natural habitat. To me, this was mind-blowing. I still think about it.
I have had the opportunity to do a swimming with the turtles, if you will, and it wasn't something that was scripted. You're just in an area in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and there is something so magical when you're just following them and you see the elegance and almost the grace that they have underwater. I can imagine that that's a memory that has absolutely been tattooed with you in your brain of how delightful Hawaii is. Let's go the other way. What is a dream travel location you've not been to yet?
Not a location, but I still haven't seen whales. And one day I hope to be able to be somewhere on a boat and experiencing a whale in their natural habitat. I love animals, so to me this is something magical.
Well, you're certainly in a great place of the world for animals and things that I might not be accustomed to. It's funny, Alyona, when you first said whales, I was thinking you were talking about in the UK.
Oh, sorry, my accent.
No. It was not the accent at all. It's the same sounding word. And I'm thinking, well, do you like the Wrexham Football Club? Is that? But no, it's the seeing the animal of the whales. I've never had that chance to do that, and I think that would be a lot of fun. And you may be the first guest that has pivoted that question on not a location but a trip, and I like that.
An experience.
Ooh, somebody is in the customer experience space. I like that. Well played there. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, what is a favorite thing of yours to eat?
I don't know, chocolate, ice cream, fruit. But I feel like the more you eat of the same thing, the less you like that. So I think a diversity is important. And I also enjoy making cocktails and drinking them.
There we go. Okay, I knew you and I had some very similar. We both like customer experience, and now we both like cocktails.
You're travel.
Walking. And travel, absolutely. So you are walking. I'm going to give you a little bonus first class lounge question here. You're walking into your favorite lounge. What is the cocktail you request?
Either Clover Club or Aviation.
Okay.
Aviation, like since we're in flight or almost in flight.
Brilliant. I will have to. I will want to get the recipes for all of that so that we can. We'll get that off the air here and find out what that is. The other direction. You love lots of different foods. I imagine there's some things though that you might have been forced to eat as a kid, but you just hated growing up. What were those?
I had wonderful parents who thought that a child shouldn't be forced to eat anything, but yeah.
Wow.
But I still dislike onions even now, and I never ate them.
No onions for you. Is that true if they're raw, cooked, fried, or is it just all onions in general?
The more fried they are, the better.
All right. You're absolutely talking to this Texan's heart when you talk about fried food. Absolutely. Had me some chicken fried steak on Saturday, actually. Let's go back to travel. As we exit the lounge here, what is one thing, not including your phone, not including your passport, that you will not leave home without?
Headphones. When I travel, I think very useful to keep the noise out and feeling like you're in your space.
Kojo, you talked a little bit about that we joked about the daylight savings aspect of it and thinking about New York. And I know that you do plenty of flying around the globe, both for fun, but also clearly for business as well. And when you're flying like that, it's nice to take a little break in the lounge. And that's what I want to invite you to do today. I want you to join me here in the first class lounge. We'll move quickly here, have a little bit of fun. What is a dream travel location of yours from the past?
The dream travel location from the past is Malaysia, but not just Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, rural Malaysia.
Ooh, okay.
Right, because I saw the commonalities of what I saw in rural Malaysia to rural Ghana. Okay.
Oh.
I was fascinated because Malaysia grows palm oil. I think they're the world's largest palm oil producer. Well, guess what? The story goes that the palm oil was picked up in Ghana or in West Africa hundreds of years ago. And it was fascinating traveling rural Malaysia and just seeing all these palm plantations.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So that,
Okay.
It left an indelible mark,
Yeah. I like the connection point there. That's a lot of fun. Going forward, what is a dream travel location you've not been to yet?
Oh, Japan and rural Japan as well.
Yeah. Boy, I'm hearing Japan a lot, and full recommend. Great place to go. I didn't do as much of the rural. My son did because he stayed there. Sorry, listeners and viewers. I know you're tired of hearing that, but he studied abroad there and got much more of that cultural exposure. Even there's a bit of a story that he stayed with a elderly couple when he was unable to stay in his college dorm there. So there's a story there. So he definitely got the real experience.
Yes.
And so I definitely encourage you to get over there to Japan for sure. What is a favorite thing of yours to eat?
Okay. Now, this is a difficult one, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm not going to mention a food. I have an adventurous and explorative palate. So anything fusion, okay, anything fusion, I will, tell me that I'm going to eat Japanese, African, Afro-Japanese fusion, I'm there.
I like it. And I can't wait to see you open that restaurant or tell me where to find one because Afro-Japanese might be kind of cool. All right, I'm down with that.
And let me tell you that we already have the name. It's called Kojoji.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, man. The one with Kojoji. We may have our title here, folks. I got to go the other direction with you, Kojo. What is one thing one thing that you were forced to eat growing up that you hated as a kid?
Okay, so I come from, fairly religious, when I say religious in the Christian sense of the word,
Okay.
And therefore every Friday was fish.
Yep.
I I I hated Fridays. So
Oh,
so
you, you're
but fast forward to today, fish is my favorite.
yeah. It's kind of funny that there would be a food that created you disliking a particular day of the week that is often the most favored day of the week, but you were dreading that Friday. I love it.
Absolutely, I got a Friday.
We are going to have to get back on the plane and start traveling here again. So, what is one travel item, not including your phone and not including your passport, that you will not leave home without?
Um, so I guess it still will be phone related, but anything that will allow me to listen to music. I will not leave
Kojo,
my music behind.
Lauren, there's just something so wonderfully, I'll use the word romantic, but not necessarily in like the love sense, but just kind of that the sort of epic novel romantic vision of a road trip that just, especially there's something maybe about the American road trip too. Maybe it's just the variety, the size, that I'm not sure what it is, but that road trip. And then my gosh, getting into a camper that you've never done it before and learning how to drive and all the things that you learned as a family. I will, folks, Lauren's LinkedIn profile is going to be in the show notes. Make sure you go back and look at some of those old articles, because the insight as how it's tied to customer experience or business or life in general were incredibly valuable. Now, Lauren, I got to imagine that there were times, though, as delightful as it was and exploratory as it was as a family to get to know each other, there was probably a little secret thought that you said, I kind of miss the airport lounges. I kind of miss having a break. I kind of miss the first class lounge. So today, we're going to give you a little access to the first class lounge here on CX Passport.
Sounds
We'll move
good.
quickly here and hopefully have a little bit of fun. What is a dream travel location from your past?
There's so many, and Rick, I know you're a big traveler, and you probably it kind of depends on the moment.
Sure.
I grew up by the ocean, and so anytime I can get to the water, I'm a pretty happy person. My family has spent some time in Grand Cayman, and as of I witnessed two of my friends fall in love there. So
Aw.
that is an incredibly special place for me to go to Grand Cayman and get to hang out with some stingrays on an island in the Caribbean.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. I have an aunt and uncle that have lived there for 30 some odd years. So I love the Caymans. What a brilliant place I think you may be the first to mention the Caymans. Oh, it's beautiful. Yes.
It's
Stingray.
great for families. It's kind of my
Yes.
favorite Caribbean island when it comes to just having a lot to do, and 7 Mile Beach with that beautiful turquoise water. It's pretty nice.
Hi, you realize that after this show, I'm going to go to Google Flights and just see what would it mean to get to the Caymans as quickly as possible. What going forward? What is a dream travel location you've not been to yet?
Okay, so and I am a surfer, so of course
Oh,
I'm
cool.
watching the Olympics right now and watching the surfers compete in French Polynesia, and so Tahiti is definitely on my list. I've never been there, and it's definitely staying on one of those special hotel rooms above the water. Sounds pretty cool.
Oh man! Oh, I like that, and yeah, it's been kind of fun. Yeah, I could imagine that the athletes may kind of feel, "Oh man, I'm not in the epicenter of it." But when you're told you won't be in the epicenter of the Olympics, but you're going to be in Tahiti, I feel like some of that disappointment went by the wayside pretty darn quickly.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
all right, I'll be in Tahiti, no
As
problem.
a surfer, I mean, I grew up looking at Surfer magazine and pictures of Teahupo'o, and that is an epic, epic place. The break they're in is called the Wall of Skulls. So that is not a wave for the everyday surfer. It's just one I'd love to see someday.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I've now learned about the Wall of Skulls. Where am I going to learn to surf? Not there.
Not there. Oh, no.
Lauren, what is a favorite... Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Lauren, what is a favorite thing of yours to eat?
Because I grew up on the water, I am a huge seafood fan. So Get me to Rhode Island, where I grew up in the summer, eating any kind of seafood at all. And I am a happy camper.
Oh, that sounds delightful. It absolutely does. Well, okay. Growing up, what was something that you were forced to eat, but you hated as a kid?
Oh, I have a tough relationship with beets.
Oh.
I was forced to eat beets, and I sat there for over 3 hours just refusing to eat them. It was a standoff with my parents. I thought they looked like tendons, and they just grossed me out so much I couldn't do it. So I like cried in my plate for 3 hours straight until finally my parents gave up. And then my mom, I think, was more traumatized than I was, because then she just refused to feed me anything new. I think I just ate pasta and butter for like years afterwards.
Well, boy, if you're going to do a holdout, one, I agree with you on beets. I'll hold out on beets as well. But it looks like you kind of won that labor holdout, that you ended up with pasta and butter going forward. Fine by me.
Well, the sad part, I didn't get a lot of variety. It took me till, I was in my 20s and started traveling and experiencing food from all over the world. I'm thankful for that. And also I'm sorry to my mother, who was forced to give me some pretty plain food for many years.
Oh, I love how that question does tend to expose some moments for therapy sessions of the future, I would imagine. Yeah. Lauren, it's time for us to exit the lounge. What is one travel item, not including your phone, not including your passport, that you will not leave home without?
Well, aside from my retainer, which, I like to keep my teeth straight, so that's like a given. I have a 5-year travel journal. It's just a journal, but every day I write a sentence. So it's not, I'm not writing lots and lots of prose. I'm literally writing one sentence a day, and it keeps 5 years going. So it's fun to look back from like, what was I doing 3 years ago on the same date? So that's always in my bag wherever I go.
Wow. Like those last couple sentences there, I think need to be put on a t-shirt. Like, that's brilliant. That's exactly what we need to be doing as CX, that we're representing the customer and we're cognizant of what this means towards business results. I love how you said that. That was great. I also loved, and this is just me being a little bit across the pond discussion, I love the phrase prickly. And I was thinking about, I want to start using that in my meetings if they get a little, off kilter or whatever. Are we being prickly with each other or something along those lines? Well, when that happens, and let's talk about, say when we're traveling, sometimes travel itself can get prickly. And that's when it's nice to stop down in a lounge somewhere, take a break, get a drink, get a snack, and just take a break. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to jump here in the first class lounge. We'll move quickly-ish here and have a little bit of fun. What is a dream travel location from your past?
Cuba. So about 25 years ago, I went to Cuba with a friend, and I was not at that point terribly well traveled. I'd been to the US a lot, I had family there, but I hadn't been out of the UK a huge amount. And so it was the most extraordinary experience, and felt like I was stepping back into the 50s. I already had a love of the music, but discovering the island and Havana and many other parts really gave me an appetite for travel, and was a life-changing experience. And it's something that I would, to this day, love to share with my own family. But it was extraordinary.
If viewers saw this, I don't know if I was audible enough, but I just gasped with the largest smile, because, as you know, the political relationship between U.S. and Cuba is not there. And so it is near impossible for me to, at least legally, travel to Cuba. There are ways for me to get there. And so I'm jealous of my UK friends. I've got some Canadians that talk about going to Cuba from time to time. And I would love to experience, and for you to describe it as life-changing just makes me want to go there even more. Is there any place like that? What's a dream travel location that you've not been to yet?
I'm kind of torn. It's certainly Asia. It was Tokyo, and Japan's a long way away, but everything about the culture, the food, the people, incredibly appealing. But I'm torn now as more and more we discover in the UK about South Korea and Seoul.
Yeah. And
certainly in the world that I operate in, kind of technology, customer experience, and those kind of things, just an extraordinary country of innovation as well. But I think if there was Tokyo has been my longest crush location. I love it. I haven't been there, I haven't met you, we've not been out on a date. But I would really, really love to go to Tokyo.
Oh, that is the best description I've ever heard of the dream travel location. You're even giving me the temptation to call it, hey, what's your crush travel location? I love it. having said this before and having had the chance to go there, Japan is spectacular. My son actually studied abroad there, and so got to spend some time there. He got to spend longer time there. And so when you mentioned South Korea and Japan, geographically, not too hard to get between the two. He actually just bipped over to South Korea for a weekend when he was staying there. Actually, it was a visa run, but I may have to edit that out. So had to go for the weekend. Make sure Kyoto's in your list as well, not just Tokyo. It is it's a wonderful country and great food, as you mentioned. So what is a favorite thing of yours to eat?
Oh, I'm a massive foodie, and I cook a lot and love given the opportunity to eat out. But a simple thing from early trips to France, I was introduced to confit de canard, or duck confit, the kind of unctuous duck leg with crispy skin and soft, moist meat with a rich kind of gamey taste. That is, whenever I see that on a menu, it's hard to pull me away from that. It's something that I really love. It's a little easier to get in the United Kingdom now, certainly, than 20 odd years ago, but it is still a treat, I think, because of the richness of the meat. But yeah, that's I think that's my my favorite.
I can see why that would be. And I like that there's kind of a story and the fact that you like to cook as well. So you said you're a foodie. Well, it'll be interesting to hear the answer to this. What is a food that you were forced to eat when you were growing up, but you hated as a kid?
So as a young boy in the 70s in and around London, UK, I mean, the food scene, it's a different world all those years ago.
Right.
And my dad was a very simple man with very simple tastes. And as a kid, you ate what you were given, and that's what he wanted. You know, you didn't have the opportunity to choose.
Right.
And he would love this lamb stew with dumplings, this kind of suet balls floating on the top. But the quality, cooked poorly. And my mum was a fine cook, but there's a lot of fat content in lamb, and there'll be a layer of fat bobbing across the top of the stew. And I was a fussy kid. There's no question. As a little boy, I was incredibly fussy. But then, and it has a particular smell that used to fill the house. And I remember being in my bedroom going, "Oh God, no, stew again."
Does this window open? Yeah, can I get out?
The long walk down to the dining table with my kind of dragging my feet and pushing stuff around my plate to make it look like I'd at least eaten a little bit of it. Yeah, that still triggers me to this day.
Well, I'm sorry to bring it up, although actually I'm not sorry, because that presents such a delightful image. Well, comical. Let's not use delightful image in my head. I thank you for sharing that. We will have to exit the lounge, unfortunately. So what is one travel item, not including your phone, not including your passport, that you will not leave home without?
I have some favoured sunglasses. They are battered, chipped. I've had them for many years. And let's face it, it's a rare occasion you get to use them legitimately in the UK. but I always got to have them with me. And there's a kind of tapping system that goes on. Okay, I've got my wallet, I've got my phone and my sunglasses. And there's that kind of automatic check when I leave the house. So, yes, I think that would be my item besides the mobile phone.
Celia, I definitely want to go back to what you said right there, but we are going, because that's a weighty topic, AI. There's a lot more that a thread I want to pull specifically, but something that weighty, we need to take a little break here. So I want to invite you to stop down here and join me in the First Class Lounge. We're going to have a little bit of fun here, move a little bit quickly as well. What is a dream travel location from your past?
Oh, from my past, I'm a big fan of Singapore. I love it. And I got to go there for our 25th wedding anniversary, and just amazing. And the kids went with us. It was fun.
Oh my gosh. There's so many delights to Singapore. I've never had the chance to go there. It makes me sad. Been all around it, but never to it. What's a delight that you'd want to share? What was just blew your mind when you were there?
The food's amazing. I'm a big food. I love food.
I'm done. Episode over. I'm happy.
The botanical gardens are insane. It's just really just a beautiful country, very different than, where I've lived in my life, and really just fun to visit.
That's awesome. We've already checked one of my future fantasy locations off the list, but I'm sure you still have some. So what's a dream travel location you've not been to yet?
Okay, I have not visited Istanbul, and it is on my bucket list, and I cannot wait. I think I had a layover there one time. It was kind of like really teasing me, but I can't wait to go.
You're like, can you go ahead and delay that next flight for about 10 hours so I can leave?
I'm so tempted.
It's a dangerous thing to do. I wouldn't recommend it, but the temptation was probably there.
Exactly.
Hey, you mentioned food. What is a favorite thing of yours to eat?
All right, so I am completely spoiled. My husband is an amazing cook, right?
Nice.
And so he basically anything he makes, I'm thrilled with. And he makes fresh pasta, fresh bread. Yes. So I feel really fortunate. We love to go out, but if we're staying in, I know I'm going to have a good meal.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite thing to eat is your husband's home cooking. I like that. Okay. Next time I'm in your neck of the woods, I might be knocking on the door around dinner time. Let's go the other way though. What about while you were growing up, something you hated but were forced to eat as a kid?
Oh my gosh. I grew up on a farm, a beef cattle farm.
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
I was forced to eat liver at times, and it just not my jam.
For those that are only listening, they don't see the wince in my face, the eyes closed, and the shake of my head. I am so with you. And what's interesting, Celia, is liver and onions has come up a lot. On here.
It should for that question.
Hey, stop! Just a little sidebar here. I'm curious. So you grew up on a ranch. Where was that?
I grew up outside of Louisville, Kentucky, on a farm, and I loved it. It was so much fun, but very different from where I'm experiencing adulthood.
Well, I can imagine.
It was good.
I would I'd love to spend some time there. That would be intriguing, but we're not going to. Listeners, don't worry. We're going to stay in the CX Passport vein here, but we are done with the lounge. But I want to get you back into travel here. What is one travel item, not including your phone, not including your passport, that you will not leave?
A carry-on bag. This is a rule in my family with my kids. I don't care if we're gone for 2 days or 2 weeks. The Fleishakers don't check a bag. So I'm very opposed to that. And so yes, we all take our carry-on bag with us, and that's what you have, regardless of the duration.
Thanks for joining us this week on CX Passport. If you like today's episode, I have 3 quick next steps for you. Click subscribe on the CX Passport YouTube channel or your favorite podcast app. Next, leave a comment below the video or a review in your favorite podcast app so others can find and enjoy CX Passport too. Then head over to cxpassport.com for show notes and resources that can help you create tangible business results by delivering great customer experience. Until next time, I'm Rick Denton, and I believe the best meals are served outside and require a passport.